My name is Carradine. Once, longer ago than I care to think, I was a paragon to the dwarves of Orzammar.
Carradine, the Paragon Smith. Alive?
Ah, there is a voice I recognize. Shale of the House of Kadash. Step forward.
You know my name. Is it you that forged me then? Is it you that gave me my name?
Have you forgotten then? Ah, it has been so long. I made you into the golem you are now, Shale. But before that you were a dwarf, just as I was. The finest warrior to serve King Valtor, and the only woman to volunteer.
The only woman? A dwarf?
I laid you on the anvil of the void, here in this very room, and put you into the form you now possess.
The anvil of the void. That is what we seek.
If you seek the anvil, then you must care about my story, or be doomed to relive it. Though I made many things in my time, I rose to fame and earned my status based on a single item. The Anvil of the Void. It allowed me to forge a man of steel or stone, as flexible and clever as any soldier. As an army, they were invincible, but I told all. I made you into the golem you are now, Shale, but before that you were a dwarf, just as I was. The finest warrior to serve King Valtor, and the only woman to volunteer.
The only woman? A dwarf?
I laid you on the anvil of the void, here in this very room, and put you into the form you now possess.
The anvil of the void. That is what we seek.
If you seek the anvil, then you must care about my story, or be doomed to relive it. Though I made many things in my time, I rose to fame and earned my status based on a single item, the Anvil of the Void. It allowed me to forge a man of steel or stone, as flexible and clever as any soldier. As an army, they were invincible, but I told no one the cost. No mere smith, however skilled, has the power to create life. To make my golems live, I had to take their lives from elsewhere. The Darkspawn were pressing in. Originally, I only took volunteers, the bravest of souls, willing to trade their very lives for the chance to defend their homeland. But King Valtor became greedy. He began to force men, casteless and criminals, his political enemies, all of them were to be given to the Anvil. It took feeling the hammer's blow myself to realize the height of my crimes. Not revenge. The blow of the hammer opened my eyes. My apprentices knew enough to make me as I am, but not enough to fashion a control rod. I retained my mind. You were amongst the most loyal, Shale. You remained at my side throughout. And at the end, I sent you away out of mercy.
I do not remember.
We have remained entombed here ever since, and I have sought a way to destroy the Anvil. Alas, I cannot do it myself. No golem can touch it.
No! The anvil is mine! No one will take it from me!
Shale, you fought to destroy the Anvil once. Do not allow it to fall into unthinking hands again!
You speak of things I do not remember. You say we fought. Did you use our control rods to command us to do so?
I destroyed the rods. Perhaps my apprentices eventually learned to replace the rods. I do not know. But if so, then all they need is the anvil to make all the slaves they need. You, please, help me destroy the anvil. Do not let it enslave more souls than it already has.
Don't listen! He's been trapped here for 1,000 years, stewing in his own madness. Help me claim the anvil, and you will have an army like you've never seen!
Branka, you mad, bleeding nugtail! Does this thing mean so much to you that you can't even see what you've lost to get it?
Look around. Is this what our empire should look like? A crumbling tunnel filled with dark spawn spume? The anvil will let us take back our glory!
So it fights with Caradin? Good. That seems right.
Thank you, stranger. Your compassion shames me.
No! You will not take it! Not while I still live!
Branka, don't throw your life away for this. Just give her the blasted thing. She's confused. Maybe once she calms down, we can talk to her.
Bah! You're not the only master smith here, Caradin. Golems, obey me! Attack!
A control rod! But, my friend, you must help me! I cannot stop her alone! Another life lost because of my invention. I wish no mention of it had made it into history.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Stupid woman. Always knew the anvil would kill her.
How is it that the woman was not able to disable me as she did you, Caradin?
I do not know. Have you been altered?
I once had a pathetic little mage of a master. He did something to me, experimented on me, and then I killed him, and it rendered me paralyzed.
Perhaps he was bringing forth old memories, and caused you to remember the time when you fought at my side. The paralysis you speak of always resulted when the Master perished. As for your free will, you were always a strong woman, Shell. I am pleased to see you remain such.
I don't know what to say. Thank you.
Do not thank me. All of this is my doing, my legacy. But at least it ends here. I thank you for standing with me, stranger. The anvil waits there for you to shatter it. Is there any boon I can grant you for your aid? A final favor before I am freed from my burden?
Yeah. I don't suppose you can bring Branka back. Maybe make her a golem like you.
I would not do such a thing to her, even if I could.
Somehow I didn't think so. Well, and I don't want anything that would remind me of this. Best it's just done. There is still the matter of the election. I mean, we still need a paragon to get the assembly support, right?
For the aid you've given me, I shall put hammer to steel one last time, and give you a crown for the king of your choice. Give it to whom you will. I do not wish to hear their names, nor anything more of them. I have already lived far beyond my time. I have no place here. Aye, that was my great pride, and soon enough, my shame.
But where will you go? You don't mean to...
I do. I live to ensure that the anvil was never used again. Now it never shall be. We all must have an end, Cher. May yours be one of your own choosing. A trust in Al-Tunsha. May you always find your way in the dark.
Names. Long list of dwarves. Wait, hold on. We honor who have made this sacrifice. Let their names be remembered. Fart me a lullaby. It's a memorial of all the dwarves who became golems. Has to be. If there was some way of getting this back to the Shaper at Orzammar, I bet they'd brown their trousers. And pay good gold for it. Probably both.
Shale of House Kadash. Is that who I once was? I find this difficult to believe. No, I do not doubt him. I simply cannot remember. If I was this Shale of House Kadash, as Caridin said, there must be some evidence of my existence remaining. I must find it. There is another way. What Caridin said, it has allowed me to remember one thing. I believe I know where Kadash Taig is. I am. I do not know why I am, but I am. I will mark the location on its map. If we can journey there soon, I am most curious as to what we will find.
Well, that pretty much beat the sod out of how I imagined it. You ready to head back yet and share the news? Yeah, those Deshers have been trying to destroy the city for years. Haven't managed yet.
This is it. Kadash Taig. Perhaps. It may also be where I was found. These ruins are always overrun by vermin. There may be something noteworthy further in, however. What is this? This I remember. It has dates and names. This is to honor those who volunteered, those who became golems. And there is my name, Shale of House Kadash. Just as Caridin said. I remember now. I remember, Shale. That was me. Wonderful to remember being a soft, squishy creature of flesh. Perhaps. I will need to think on these things I have learned. Perhaps I will speak to it of them soon. For now, let us carry on as we have.
Lords of the Assembly, I call for order. This argument gets us nowhere.
Then why these delaying tactics? I call for a vote right now. My father has one living child to assume the Idukan throne. Who would deny him that?
Your father made me swear on his deathbed you would not succeed him.
I apologize for the interruption, Lord Stewart, but the Grey Warden has returned.
We should let the Warden speak. What news do you bring?
Caridin was trapped in the body of a golem. This Warden granted him the mercy he sought, releasing him and destroying the Anvil of the Void. Before he died, Caridin forged a crown for Orzammar's next king, chosen by the ancestors themselves.
And we are supposed to trust this? The word of a drunken sot and a Grey Warden known to be in Harrowmont's pocket?
Silence! This crown is of Paragon make, and bears House Hortan's ancient seal. Tell us, Warden, whom did Caridin choose?
I appreciate your forthrightness, Warden. You have acted with grace through this entire torturous process.
Let the memories find you worthy. First amidst the lords of the houses, the King of Orzammar.
I will not abide by this!
The ancestors have spoken.
Would you let a surfacer decide the fate of the dwarves?
Watch out! They brought weapons!
Guards! I admit I did not think even Balin would defy the word of a paragon, nor that so many would follow him. But most of Orzammar has seen him for what he really is, and I trust we will bring this insurgency under control. Indeed, more than anyone but my wife, Warden, and I thank you for it. Those loyal to the throne will begin preparations for a surface mission immediately. Orzammar will fulfill its treaties.
Thank you, King Haramont. Perhaps your rule will mark a new era for Orzammar.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I must get to the palace and set our plans in motion. This is the staff I carried as King Endrin II. Take it as a reminder of your place in Orzammar. I wish you luck against the Blight Warden. May we foster another 4 centuries of peace.
If I'd heard it secondhand, I'd have called it a sodding lie. Warden, we've got a king because of you. The rest, impressive, but the Legion is grateful most for restored leadership. It frees us to fight to the Darkspawn properly. Nay, our place is down here. When you break the Blight, and you've got the skill, we'll make sure they have nowhere to retreat. You'll have us indirectly. That's more than any surfacer can say. You alone have the skill to back up your words. Each of the Legion owes our homeland a death, but if our lives are better shed on the surface, so be it. Back to Orzammar when we win, though. I'll not stay topside to lose my stone sense.
I started to worry. I didn't know if you were ever coming back. Did you find any records? Any sign of the old Orton Tig? You found them? Let me see. That's my great-grandmother's name. And her husband! Oh, great ancestors, it's them! It's me! I am an Orton. Oh, thank you. I have to take these to the Assembly right away. Find me there. Once these are acknowledged, I'll give you any reward.
Impressive work, Warden. King Haramont's impending coronation has been entered into the memories. Is there something more I can help you with? What's this? A list of names. Most of these clans no longer even exist. Is this authentic?
You bet your hairy arse it is. Taken from a tablet in Caridin's fortress, no less.
Then is it true? The rumors of Caridin's so-called volunteers? Extraordinary! I would love to make a copy of this. The Shaperate has never had much information on Caridin and his golems, much less proof of this magnitude. Warden, I hope this artifact from our archives will suffice as a reward. I must inform the Shaperate at once.
Warden, I'm outraged. A thief in the Shaperate. What have we been reduced to? I did. He was bald, with the most garish brand across his head. Almost like he took pride in being castless. Imagine. He's probably in the slums somewhere. As if he'd find a buyer for a stolen tome in Dusttown. They couldn't know the value. What do you want, Warden? You're out of your element down here. Is that so? What makes you think anyone here would turn this person in? You've walked into a sodding fight, Warden, and I've already passed your stupid tome along. Too bad for you.
My name's Orta. After the old Orton house, they gave our seat back. And the records show which houses still owe House Orton money. One day, I will be able to properly thank you for all you've done for me. I will. And I don't know what treasure is left, but whatever I get, you can have as much as you want. I'll have to find someone willing to look. Maybe a whole expedition. If the Tig is still there, it must have something. House Orton will not forget this kindness. Didn't that sound official?
Please be quiet. My patient needs a rest. Fools and their politics. The poison was probably imported as a king killer, and she got dosed by mistake. I've never seen anything this potent. It's a very strange toxin. I know there's a counter, but the ingredients are so rare, it just doesn't matter. If you can chase these things down, I'll thank you, but I won't get my hopes up. The stone will take her soon.
You look like you're not from around here. Oh, wonderful. I've been trying forever to find someone who really knows the surface world. I don't suppose you've heard of something called the Circle? Oh, my lady, it's an honor. I've never met an actual mage. Is it true you can manipulate nature's forces with your mind? Like you were born with lyrium in your veins?
Don't let the glamour fool you, child. Wielding magic is a dangerous occupation, and a great responsibility.
I've been trying to reach someone there for years. I've sent missives with every caravan, but I never get a reply. I want to know if they would accept me for study. I want to go to the Circle to study. I don't want to do magic. No dwarf can cast spells, but I don't see why I shouldn't study it. It would be a valuable exchange. Orzammar would learn of one of the great natural forces of the surface. And the Circle gains direct access to our knowledge of lyrium smithing. That would be wonderful. My name is Dagna, daughter of Janar of the Smithcasts. Tell them I've already begun reading the Tevinter Imperium's Verticum Kadab, and it's just fascinating. Did you know the Imperial Magister Lords once had genealogies of every human family known to produce a mage child? Oh, I'll go pack my bags right now. I'll be waiting by my father's shop.
You've returned. With all the excitement over the new king, I never expected you to remember my poor son. Did you learn anything about my ruck? Oh, my poor boy. I guess I knew, but I just wish I could have seen him one last time. Here, this is my husband's masterwork, the first shield he smithed. I don't have anyone to save it for anymore. I'd like you to have it, for what you risked to bring me this news.
Who are you? You don't look like any guardsman I ever saw, and that's not much of a uniform. Oh, you looking for a chance to bring in some coin? Could be I have that opportunity. Especially for someone with a few connections above ground. No offense, but your kings have some laws that don't make sense in a practical kind of world. Like about who gets to buy and sell lyrium, the sacred gift the stone provides us to show her love. No law should regulate that. The laws are meant to keep mages away from the stuff, so there's always buyers in the Circle Tower. I got one man named Godwin. He's expecting a delivery of a stone's weight. You want an investment opportunity? I could see fit to, say, sell you that lyrium instead, at the reasonable price of 50 sovereigns. You can keep it, or, since you can travel freely from here, sell it to Godwin, who you know is buying. And if you bring back his return order, I could pay you, say, 20 sovereigns as a finder's fee. You haggle like a merchant born. Deal. Here's the lyrium, then. You, probably don't want to take it out of the box. I'll be waiting for the next order somewhere out of sight. Say, just around the corner.
What are you looking for? We got nothing to buy for the likes of you. Or maybe you wanted to sell. Well, our business is kind of covert, if you know what I mean. It's illegal in Orzammar for me to engage in protected trade, but they look the other way if I share things with my friends. For money. Why don't you take a look?
Welcome to what will soon be Orzammar's first chantry. The chant of light will reach all corners of the world. We will never forget who made this possible. May her memory live forever.
I got him. He's all squirmy, but he's a big fella. I knew you'd be good on your word. Nice doing business.
Oh, it's one of those subterranean bunny pigs. Oh, look at him. Come here, you. He's probably just hungry. Oh, he's snuffling me. Snuffle, snuffle. Thank you so much. You've made my day.
What say you? By all means. Well, the crows would have you believe that it is an involved process that takes years of training, the sort that tests both your resolve and your endurance. Survive that process and maybe, just maybe, you're good enough to start being considered one of them. But quite frankly, the truth is that all it requires is a desire to kill people for a living. It's surprising how well one can do in such a field. within the Crows I did. But it has been something the Crows have devoted a great deal of time to perfecting. An assassin simply specializes in striking from stealth, and in maximizing that first attack to be as lethal as possible. Debilitate your foe, either by poison or by crippling their limbs, makes any follow-up combat you need to engage in that much simpler. I do. It is not something inherent in an assassin's skills, however, merely something complementary. Of course, the Crows like to pretend that their abilities are trade secrets, shrouded in shadows and wrapped in a blanket of mystery. So let's just keep this between you and me, shall we?
Ask away. Of course. Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring. That's just in public. In private, we have these yellow and purple tunics, right? Much more comfortable, and you don't break the beds when you jump on them during a pillow fight. Pillow fights? I mean, no, of course not. I meant sword fights. With rusty swords, dripping with acid. The kind that puts hair on your chest. You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring. Poke, poke, poke. Tell me everything about your life, Alistair. All right, if you insist. It's not like we have anything better to do, right? The truth of the matter is that I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I felt like Al-Eamon had cast me off, unwanted, and I was determined to be bitter. But I took some solace in the training itself, I guess. I was actually quite good at it. Using the abilities I have came after years of education and discipline that was difficult to achieve, if rewarding. The sword training and religious doctrine all came later. I never really felt at home anywhere, though, until I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful for when we encountered Darkspawn magic, so I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home? We won't always be traveling like this, you know. Once the war is over, once the Blight is... well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again. Though that seems like a far ways off. And I suppose the Grey Wardens are gone for good, either way. I suppose you're right. We can create new Grey Wardens, but we'll never get back those we lost. I wonder if it would ever feel the same. Anyhow, now I've sidetracked us. We'd better get back to what we're supposed to be doing right now.
What's on your mind? Oh, yes, and thank you for asking. I'm feeling much better today. Well, thank you for your kindness, my dear. It certainly warms these rickety old bones.
I've watched a lot of humans in my time. It should be aware that I've decided that it is not much like any of them. Surely it must come from some superior lineage, yes? Some breed of flesh creature that has decided to elevate its genetic stock above its natural shortcomings? Oh, then that must be it. I knew there had to be some reason, it being a human and all. I would appreciate if it didn't spread around that I said anything. Humans might start to get the wrong idea. They might start thinking their race is not completely hopeless. Now, let us crush something into a fine paste before it starts to think I've gone all soft. Perish the thought.
Speak, then. What makes it mine? It was theirs to begin with. They knew me before I was born. I was birthed on the day they chose, placed in the world by their hands. When I die, it will be the Tamasrans who note my passing. I am their work. What I do is for my people, always. No need. I have been trained to choose as they would. There is little point in pursuing this. We should move on.
Give me a moment. Of course everything's all right. Just give me one sodding moment. By the stone. I feel like I'm about to fall off the world with all that sky up there. If I could fight Randar Volney second after downing 15 lichen ales in half an hour, I'm not gonna be put off by a high-sodding ceiling. Well, let's get moving. We're losing, daylight.
Your dog is filthy. I can smell him 50 yards off. That may be so, but all the same, I would like your permission to bathe him. No, that's not what magic is used for. Just make him sleep over on the other side of the camp, with Alistair. With any luck, that will keep all the stench confined to one small area.
Are you sure I can't interest you in this hat? A pair of earrings, perhaps? A cheese knife? Of all the strange news, everyone is talking about some brother in Denerim claiming that the urn of sacred ashes has been found. Actually found. I understand the Chantry is a bit skeptical and probably won't get a chance to deal with the brother's claim until after the war is ended. But it's incredible even so, don't you think? That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is.
Welcome back, friend. You'll be glad to learn that the Circle is well on its way to recovery. Orzammar, indeed. You have piqued my curiosity. It is common knowledge that dwarves lack the aptitude for spellcraft. She will never be able to weave the simplest magic, no matter how hard she tries. Fascinating. I suppose the Circle should be flattered. I see. If she is willing to sacrifice so much for this, then we should feel honored. Tell Dagna of Orzammar that this path will not be easy. But if she chooses it, then she is welcome here at the Circle. She will live and study with the Tranquil, and perhaps the apprentices, when it is appropriate. If only the Circle was in better shape. I fear she may be disappointed when she arrives. This will be interesting. She could tell us much about our dwarven neighbors. Yes, the more I think about it, the more I like the idea. I shall take this as an indication that perhaps things are starting to look up for the Circle. Thank you. I wish you well. Know you will always be welcome here.
Oh, it's you! You saved the Circle. I'd kiss your feet if you didn't look as though you'd kill me if I did that. You'll settle for a handshake, won't you? Maybe a kiss on the forehead, eh? Rogek? Well, he's a personal friend, and sometimes we, correspond. Did he, have anything for me? Yes, I'll take it off your hands right now. What about 50 sovereigns? That's a good price, no? You drive a hard bargain, friend. If I had children, they'd be starving. But I don't, so here's your gold. Out of curiosity, do you know why this lyrium took so long to get here? Dwarves and their politics. Always causing trouble. How is the situation now? I see. Well, I just wanted to know if I should expect another late delivery. Well, mages need lyrium for spells and things. Nothing you'd know about. I suppose you did at that. Well, yes, but you see, the Templars use lyrium too. They cannot manipulate natural energies like mages can, but they need to be able to fight us. The big problem with lyrium is that it has diminishing returns, and the Templars become dependent on it.
You're taking advantage of the Templars, encouraging them. And for money, you despicable, profiteering crook!
If it wasn't me and Rogek, someone else would do it. Those that know what I do have good reason not to get me in trouble. You can't do that. Gregor doesn't have time for trivialities. He's a busy man. Very busy. Oh, you'll do what you'll do, won't you? So just leave me alone.
My men have scouted the tower. It's a mess, but the abominations are gone. You are very thorough. I'm impressed. Where did you hear about this? I was not aware. Godwin. Yes, I know of Godwin. He intended to sell this lyrium to the Templars. Lyrium is dangerous. The Templars are only to use it at the command of the Chantry. I will seek out this Godwin and learn more about this.
What? You found Flemeth's grimoire? But when I spoke of it to you, I did not truly hope... This is a most fortuitous event. You have my thanks. I will begin study of the tome immediately. Secrets. My mother has many of them, and this tome represents the one time that they were able to get away from her. I do not intend to squander this opportunity to learn more than Flemeth wished me to know. This should be... interesting.
Come to talk to old Ogren, have you? Don't know why. Nothing. I'm fine. Just, I got a hornet in my eye is all. Did you want to talk about something? What about? Oh, sure. I'm fine with it. I mean, she was a real firebrand between the sheets, but a bit soft in the skull, you know what I mean? Explains why she left, anyway. Oh, you don't know her. She was cracked like a glass floor. Before she was a paragon, I mean. After that, she really fell apart. I mean, she leaves me and flits about with that water-dart Hespith. What's she got that I don't? Just the thought of the two of them together, kissing and licking and intertwined on the floor of the deep roads. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to the tent for a moment. Excuse me.
Hello, how can I... Oh, it's you! And it's been, well, quite a while. Enough time to get to the circle and back, I hope. Oh, please tell me what they said. Ancestors, bless you. I can't believe it. There hasn't even been a dwarven observer in the circle since Urelden in the 13th century. I need to pack. No, my parents would get suspicious. I need to go. Is there anything I should bring? Books? Tuition? Then I should go before my parents come looking for me. If you ever go to the circle again, maybe I'll see you there.